Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Wish Infinite. In this video of Playwright with TypeScript series, I am going to talk about passing request body or request payload using JSON file. So what is request body or payload? So the request body or payload is the part of HTTP request that contains the data being sent to the server. This data can be in the various formats such as JSON, XML, etc. So mainly we are going to pass the request body into the JSON format, and into this video also I am going to give you the example related to the JSON format request payload. And this request body is typically used with certain HTTP methods. First one is the post method, which is used to create or update a new resource on the server. Second one is the put method, which is used to create or update an existing resource. It replaces the entire resource at the targeted location. About post and put call, we have already talked into my previous video that how we can perform testing for this post and put call by using the postman and also by using the Playwright. Now coming on to this patch HTTP method, which is used to partially update an existing resource. So the patch is used to apply partial update to a resource, meaning that only the fields that needs to be changed are sent in the request body. So if you will compare this put and patch method, so into the put we replaces the entire resource, but into the patch we replaces the partial resource. So here if you will see, the put is used to replace the entire resource with a new representation, meaning that all the fields of the resource are sent in the request body. So here with the put we would be sending all the fields, but with the patch we would be only be sending the partial request body. So mainly you would be seeing this put HTTP method into your project, but in some cases this patch HTTP method can also come into picture, and at that time you should be aware that how you need to use it. So let me give you one example quickly. So here onto this restful-booker site, if you will come to this partial update booking section, and here they are using this patch method to update a current booking with the partial payload. So into the put call video, we saw that we need to pass the complete body like this to perform the put call. But into the patch call, we are only passing the partial payload for the data which we need to update. So it would be mostly similar to the put call. Only thing is that you are passing the partial payload. And let me show it to you quickly that how it will look into the postman and onto Playwright. So here I have copied that curl command and let me import it. So see, here we are passing this base URL with the resource and the path parameter. And as we just wanted to update the partial resource, so in that case, we have used this patch on place of put. Right? Into the body also, we are not passing the complete body. We are just passing the data which we want to update. And here with the Playwright also, it would be very similar to the put call. So on place of put call, you would be using patch here, okay, like this. And here, as into the put call, we were passing the complete payload. But here with the patch call, you would be just passing the partial payload. That's it. And all the other things would be similar. All these assertions also are going to be the same. So you can try this patch call at your end. You can treat it as the assignment. And if you are not able to do it, you can let me know into the comment section. I can help you with that. Let me change it to put for now. I just wanted to show it to you that how you can perform the patch call also. Now let me go back to the theory of this video. And after this patch HTTP method, we have delete method, where occasionally we would be sending additional data for resource deletion. So every time you will not have to pass the data, but in some cases you can see that with the delete also we are passing the data. So these are the four different methods where we pass the request body. So with the post and put, previously also we have sent the body directly into the TypeScript file. But this time we are going to pass it through the JSON file. And in this video, I'm going to give you the example with this post and put call. But with this patch and delete call also, you need to apply the same thing where you would be passing data from the JSON file. So here, let's start with this post HTTP method. Let me take the same example which we have used into post call API testing video. Let me use this curl command for the postman tool. So here you can go to this postman, click onto the import and paste that curl command for the post call. So here, this is the post call where we are passing this base URL with the booking resource. And here, if you will come to this body section, so see, we are passing this JSON body. That's why it has selected this raw and JSON here. And now let me perform the same call with the help of Playwright. And here into this project, I've already created one TypeScript file, which is API testing pass req body from json.spec.ts file under this test folder. And inside this file, I've already imported the test from the Playwright test module. This expect also you can import, which we will be using for providing the assertion. And here I've created 2 blank test blocks. And here for the first test block, I've given the title as API testing -pass request body from JSON for post call. And the second parameter is anonymous function, where we are going to use this request fixture. As we have seen that we need to use this request fixture to perform any HTTP call. Now let's perform this post call quickly. So request dot post, and with the post, as we have seen, we need to pass the first parameter as the complete endpoint. So our endpoint here is containing the base URL with the resource, which is booking. So under the quotes, I have passed it. Now we need to pass the second parameter, where we would be passing the request body here. So to pass the request body for the second parameter, we need to provide this comma, and then we would be passing one object here. So curly braces. And then we need to provide the key, which would be the data, and its value is going to be the complete JSON object, which we are passing as the request body or the payload. So here, let me copy it directly from the Postman tool. You can also copy it from this document. So this is complete request body for the post call. So we are performing this post call to create a new booking entry with all these details, right? About this post, put, get, we have already seen into my previous video. If you have not watched the previous API testing related video, I would highly recommend you to watch those videos before coming on to this video. I will provide the link of those videos and the playlist into the description, or you can click onto this I button at top right corner to access those videos. Now coming back here. So this is our post call. Headers we have already passed into my playwright.config.ts file. So this post call require this accept and content type as the header that we have already provided into this playwright.config.ts file. Right? Previously also I have explained this part. And now we can save the response of this post call into one variable. So for that we need to use this const, and here we can give any variable name. So I am giving this resp post equals to, and we also need to use this await with this post method, as this post method is going to return us the promise. So using this await here, and here let's perform some assertions onto the response which we are going to receive from this post call. So to see the response body, we can use this Postman tool, or you can also directly print the response by using this console.log, and then we can convert this response into the JSON format by using the JSON method. All these things we have already seen, so I'm not going into much details here for that. So now let's quickly generate the response with the help of this Postman tool, just to save the time. So this is the response body which is going to get generated, and here we are going to receive this new booking ID which got generated, and all the booking details which we have sent as the request also, right? So the same booking details you would be able to see here. So now let's check that we are going to receive the same booking details or not with the help of assertion. So here we need to provide assertion by using this expect, and we need to import this expect from the Playwright test module. And inside the expect, we need to pass the response into the JSON format to check the booking details. So let's save the response into the JSON format into one variable. Okay. So const response JSON, any name you can give here, and then await resp post, the response which we have got from the post call, dot JSON method we need to use to convert the response into the JSON format. And now here we can pass this response JSON with this expect method, and as we need to validate the booking details only, so for that we can put dot and then this key name which is booking, right? So it can be any key which you want to validate. Okay, for now I just want to validate the booking details, so that's why I'm giving this booking here. And then we need to put the dot, and we are going to use this toMatchObject method. And here with this toMatchObject method, we would be passing that what is the expected booking details which we want to match against this response. So the expected booking details should be the same which we have passed as the request body. So I am copying the same request body here, and then within this parenthesis of toMatchObject method, I am passing that JSON object. So now our post call is ready. Okay, and this is the assertion which we have provided. Let's provide one more assertion where we would be validating this additional needs value. So this additional needs should be breakfast into the response body, right? So for that we can provide one assertion expect, and here we can again use this response JSON, And under the response JSON, we have this booking, and inside this booking, we have this additional needs, right? So here, let me copy this booking, and after the dot, you can give this booking, and again dot, and then we need to validate this additional needs details. So I'm copying this additional needs, and then you can use it here. And after the expect, we need to provide the method, which is to equal. About all those things we have already seen, right? So I'm not going into much details here. And here, as we need to validate, the response additional details which we have received should match with this breakfast, right? So here we have provided these two assertions for this post call. And now let me click onto this run button, and we should be able to see the passed result for this post call. So for now, we are just passing the data directly into our TypeScript file, as previously also we have used it. And see, our execution got passed, and both the assertions are also got passed. Now I'm going to pass this data from the JSON file. And to do that, what I can do, I can again copy this data, okay? And this time I'm going to put this data into the JSON file. Here I've already created one JSON file inside this test data folder, which is the old folder. Inside it directly I've created this API data.json file. You can give any name for this file, but it should have this .json extension. You can right click at any location to create such files. And after clicking onto this new file, you can give any name with this .json extension. And inside this JSON file, we can provide all the data which we need to use into TypeScript file. So about reading this JSON file, we have already seen into one of my previous video that how to read test data from the JSON file. If you want to see that video, I will provide the link of that video into the description, or you can click onto this I button at top right corner here. So here now let's paste that JSON data which we have copied from here. So within the curly braces, we have provided all the data. So this is the key and this is the value, right? So n number of key and value pairs can be there into this JSON file. And now we would be using this JSON file to pass the request body into our TypeScript file. Let's first import this API data.json file into our TypeScript file. So for that, we need to use this import statement. And here any name you can give. So API JSON, I'm giving the name like this. We need to import it from this JSON file. So here I'm putting this .. which will take us to this parent folder. And here we need to go to this test data folder. And inside the test data folder, we have this API data.json file, which we need to import. And now we would be using this name to go to this particular file and to read this data. So for now, inside this file, we are having this data directly available, right? So for that, what we can do, after data, you need to put this colon, and here we were providing that complete JSON object here, right? So now on place of that JSON object, we are going to use this API JSON, which is having the complete JSON object. And that's it. Like this, you would be able to pass the request body from the JSON file. And here with this assertion also, we are validating the same details. So for that, we are passing the same JSON object which we have provided here. So here you can remove this JSON object from this toMatch object method, and directly you can use this API JSON which we have imported from this API data.json file, which is containing the same object directly, right? And here, if you want to read this breakfast from this API data.json file, so that also you can do. So inside this API JSON, right, which is containing the complete object, we need to read this additional needs, right? So we can put dot after this API JSON, and this API JSON is having all those keys, right? If you will put dot, you would be able to see all the keys which we have put, right? Keys with the values which we have put. So here we are able to see all the keys, and we need to read this additional needs. So I can put it here, right? So that it would be able to read this breakfast from here by using this key. Now let me execute it again, and it should again get passed, right? Because we have just replaced that JSON object from our TypeScript file with this JSON file, which is containing that particular data. Let me execute it, and it should get passed. So see, our execution got passed, and that's how you can pass the data from the JSON file for your post API call. And in the similar pattern, we are going to use it for the put call also. So let me show this put call also to you. So for that, again, let me go to this update booking, and here we are using this put call, and you can check the same into the postman tool. I've copied that curl command. Here, click onto the import, paste that curl command, and it has taken all the value. So here we are using this put call where we have passed this base URL with the resource and then the booking ID, because we are going to update this booking ID 1 details. And here we have passed the body, right? As we have seen that with the put call, it replaces the complete resource itself. So that's why we'll have to pass the complete body. With the patch call, we will have to just pass the partial data. But for now, we are taking the example of the put call. And here we would be passing the complete body itself. And now let's perform the same put call into our Playwright test also. So here I've already created this second test block, which we are going to use for the put call. Here I've given the title as the API testing -pass request payload from the JSON for the put call. And then we are using this anonymous function where I've provided this request fixture. And by using this request fixture, so await request dot, and now this time we are going to use this put call. And now we need to pass the endpoint as the first parameter, which is containing the base URL with the resource as the booking, and the path parameter as the booking ID, which is 1, right? So the same thing I've passed here. And here with the second parameter, we can pass different options. For now, we are just going to pass the data. Into my last video, we passed this header also. But for now, I'm just passing the data here, and header I will pass directly into this Playwright config file. So here I've already written this key and value pair. So the same thing I'm going to uncomment here. So authorization is the key which we need to provide with the header, and this is the authorization value, right? Same thing you would be able to see into the document also. See here, this authorization is the key, and this is the value which we need to pass. Previously, with the put call video, we have already seen all these things into details. For now, I'm directly using it. Okay, so here we have provided that authorization key and value pair directly into this playwright.config.ts file. So here we are just going to pass the data. So after the comma, we need to pass an object, and inside the object, you need to provide the key as the data colon, and its value is going to be the JSON object. So let me copy it from the Postman tool. Okay, so this is the request body which we want to send. Here, if you want to change any value, that also you can do. Here, let me change this first name as Wish Infinite. Okay, so different values you can pass, right? So this is our put call, and now we can save this put call response into one variable. Here we can give this const and then ISP put, right? Any name you can provide here equals to, and then this put call. And now here, let me provide the same assertions which we have provided with the post call. So let me first convert this RESP put response into the JSON format. So for that, you need to use this await RESP put dot JSON, and then we can save this response into one variable. So const RESP put JSON. This is the variable name I'm using. And here onto this response, we can provide the assertion. So let me quickly check that what is the response which we are going to receive. Let me click send onto this Postman tool only for this put call. And here we are seeing this 403 forbidden error because we have not passed that authorization key and its value with the header. It was not available with the curl command. Let me pass it manually. Providing just the cookie is not working. Let me take this authorization key. Okay, here on place of cookie, I can pass that authorization, and then I can copy its value from here. So here I can provide the same value. And now once I click onto the send, I should be able to see the response. So see, we have got the status code as 200 with the response. So under the response body for this put call, we are able to see the same request body which we sent, right? In your project, it may be different that you are receiving this response body into the different format or different key and value pair. So accordingly, you can check for your project. Okay, let me copy this response. So here we are going to receive the same request body as the response body. So let's provide it into the assertion. So this is our request body, right? So we can provide it for our assertion also. And here let's provide the assertion. For that, expect. And within the expect, I can pass this response, which is into the JSON format. And this time I'm going to validate the complete JSON response. Last time with the post call, we have validated the booking part only. And then dot toMatch object method we need to use. And inside this toMatch object method, we can pass the expected data, right? Which should be similar to our request body, right? So I'm copying this request body and passing it here inside this toMatch object method. And let's validate this first name also with the help of one more assertion. So here we need to provide this expect, and inside it, we need to provide this response put JSON. And inside this JSON response, we have this first name key, which we want to validate. So after the dot, we can provide this first name And after the expect, we need to use this toEqual method. And inside the toEqual method, we can pass the expected value, which is wish infinite. So this is our put call where we are passing the data directly into the TypeScript file. And also we are providing these two assertions. And with this assertion also, we are passing the data into the TypeScript file only. Now let me quickly run it. And it should get passed. See, the execution got passed. And now we will take this data from the JSON file. So as we have already created this JSON file, so I will use the same JSON file, but this time I will provide this JSON object. I will modify this JSON file quickly. So into this JSON file, what I will do this time, I will provide one object where I will put two different keys. So the first key would be the post call data, any name you can give. And for this post call data key, I'm going to provide the value, and the value is this particular JSON object, right? And here I will provide one more key and value pair. So for that, you can put the comma after the first key value pair, and then you can give the name as the put call data, any name you can give. Under the double quotes you need to provide, and then colon. And then we are going to provide this put call data. Let me copy it again. And here I can paste this data. Let me tell you why I've modified this file. So previously we were passing the complete data directly into the file for the post call, right? But now we have two different calls and I want to provide those data into the same file. So that's why I have created two different keys, and for those keys I have provided the complete JSON object, right? So there can be n number of keys for which you can provide different JSON object which you want to use into your TypeScript file. So it's totally up to you how you want to create your JSON file. There is one more approach which you could have followed where you can create multiple JSON file for each call, right? But there would be so many files for each call, so that would not be feasible. But you can do it like this. So it's totally up to you, right? And now we will have to modify both the tests for the post call and for the put call also, because we have changed the structure of this JSON file. Let me go to this TypeScript file, and here see we have started getting error, right? Because directly inside this API JSON, now this additional needs is not available, right? And this also is going to give us the complete object, which is this one, right? And from this object for the post call, we just want to access this particular part. So let me copy this post call data key here, and here for the first assertion where we need this complete object. So for that, what I can do after this API JSON, right, which we have imported from this JSON file, we need to put the dot, and then we need to provide this post call data key which we have created, right? Into the VS Code, you would be able to see as soon as you will put this dot here. And for this second assertion also, we need to put dot after the API JSON, and then we need to use this post call data. And inside this post call data, we have key, which is additional needs, right? And now let's modify this put call also. So for now, we are not going to use this data inside our test, and we are going to get it from this API JSON. So here I'm putting this API JSON, and inside this API JSON, we want to access this part of data. So for that, we can copy this put call data key, and after the dot, we can provide that value. If you will put this dot, you would be able to see all the keys directly into the VS Code also. So this put call data. And for the assertion also, we can do the same. Here we need to pass the complete JSON object, which we have passed for the put call. So here we can use this API JSON dot and then put call data. And for the second assertion, where we just want to validate the first name. So for that, what we will have to do, we will have to go to this API JSON, and inside this, we want to go to this put call data, and inside the put call data, we have this object, right, which is having the key as the first name. So we want to access this first name. So let's provide same here with the assertion. So after this API JSON, we need to put the dot, and then put call data we want to access, and inside the put call data, we want to access the first name. So now see, our code is very clean. We will not have to put that JSON data directly into our TypeScript file. We would be using separate JSON file where we would be putting all the data related to our API testing, and then we can use it into our TypeScript file. And similarly, you can try it for other post, put, patch or delete calls also. If you want to use the single file, so directly you can provide different keys here, and under that you can provide those JSON object which you want to use. So it's totally up to you how you want to manage this data. For each test script file also you can create one JSON file. So let's say you are having 5 different test script file, and inside that there are different tests which are there. So you can create 5 different JSON file for each test script file. And if you are not having that much large data, so in that case, for all the test script file, you can create a single JSON file, and inside that you can provide the key and value pair like this, right? And that's it for this particular video. Let me give you the quick recap. So here we saw that we can provide the request body with certain type of HTTP methods, which are post, put, patch, and delete. We have also learned about this patch call, which is very similar to the put call, but here we can pass the partial data to replace the resource, and with the put call, it replaces the entire resource, right? As the assignment, I've provided this part to you where you need to perform the patch call. If you are not able to do it, you can let me know into the comment section below. And then we saw that how our body looks for the post and put call into the postman tool. And the same post and put call we have performed with the help of the Playwright, where we have created these 2 test blocks. And here into the first test block, we have performed the post call. And then we have taken data from the JSON file. So inside the JSON file, you can create such key and value pairs for the different calls. And then you can import this JSON file like this. And by using this name, you can access the complete JSON file. And here into the post call, we have used this API JSON, and inside it, we are having this post call data, which we need to pass as the body. Here also we need to put this post call data, right? Because previously we have modified this API data.json. And into the assertion also, we need to provide the expected data. And for that also, you can use this JSON file data, where you can use this name, and from this JSON file, you can access any key and value pair. And with the put call also, we have done the same. We have used this put call method, where into the second argument, we have passed this data, colon, and its value is going to be the JSON object, which we have passed here inside the API data.json file. And then we are accessing this value by using this API JSON, and then dot and that key value which we want to provide as the request body. And for the assertion also, we have done the same. And accordingly, you can provide it for the different post, put, patch, or delete calls, right? And number of calls you can provide. And that's it from my end. You can click onto this first card to go to the next video. You can click onto the second card to access the whole Playwright tutorial playlist. And stay tuned for my upcoming videos. If you have any comments, questions, or doubts, you can let me know into the comment section below. Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much. Have a great day.